In this tutorial, we'll be talking about reverse ETL, or data activation. This is the concept of getting data out of your cloud data warehouse and back into the business applications. In order to do that using Rivery, we'll start off by choosing Create River. And the first thing that we need to do is establish our new target, and that target being a business application using our REST API. The REST API is via an action river, and we'll choose a single REST action. Now, the difference between creating a new source versus a new target is by default, you're making a GET call as a new source. But when I change this to a post, meaning I'm going to send data to my target, you'll notice that a body is now created. So by using a post command, I have the ability to get data out of my business applications, send it to this body, and this body is what gets sent to my business apps. So I have an existing API request already built out. This one is getting sent over to Jira. So you notice I have my Jira API URL. I'm making a post call, and all the data that's being sent in my body is stored in variables. So I have things like deal name, account ID, all my custom attributes. All of those are dynamically set in my properties. So here, what I'm doing is just for a simple test, I'm hard coding that data in these values. So this is our step one. In step two, we'll be able to get data out of Snowflake and into these variables dynamically. So what I'll do now, just to test to make sure that this authentication method is working, sending data to this URL using my authentication token, I'll go ahead and hit run. And what this is going to do is create a new task in my Jira board. So that board looks like this. So while this waits to run, as soon as that is completed, now I have my new custom attribute here, my Rivery demo. All the attributes have been mapped correctly, and here are my custom attributes. So that's a very basic high-level concept of getting data into your business application using variables. But what would that look like in a production environment? How do I get data out of my data warehouse and into that business app? You would do so using a logic river. In our logic river, typically step one is ingestion. So I want to ingest all my custom users from Jira, all my new data from Salesforce. After that data has been ingested, I want to transform it and enrich it before I send it back into my business apps. In this case, I'm using a simple SQL statement. Things like defining my aliases, doing all my joins, my where clause, my conditional statements. What I'm doing here is storing that in a single variable called properties. And that properties variable contains multiple values. So what that means is it actually contains multiple rows. So in this select statement, if I have 100 rows of data, I'm going to store that in a properties variable. Then I'm going to loop through one row at a time, and I'm going to pass dynamically each attribute, such as my deal name, who it's assigned to, those custom attributes like sources and targets. That's the dynamic data that I'm going to send from Snowflake into my business application using variables here. So these same variables that we just saw in my hard-coded value are simply ingested via a select statement. So that's one method of getting data into a variable called properties. Another method, using Snowflake's syntax, you can actually construct your JSON payload in your SQL query. So what we have is a template here in our kits. So using our kit, we have Salesforce kits to not only create data, but also update data. So for example, if I were to preview my Snowflake kit, what this will do will deploy a fully embedded logic river that constructs a SQL query that will select that JSON body and transform it appropriately. All you need to do is populate your variables. So when I hit use kit, this will get downloaded into your account, and you'll have a starting point to not only select data from Snowflake, but also pass it in dynamically into your Salesforce account. Thanks for watching.